How's it going, crypto community? This is Jade Martian, and this is a late night technical analysis video for many of you who are probably sweating bullets as you see the price now sitting at 40 cents, right? So we had a dip earlier as low as 39, and we're going to jump into the technicals of what's actually going on right now and whether or not you as a XRP investor should be worried about what's going on, right? So before we get started, let's preface this with volatility is a inherent risk when you invest in the digital asset space, right? The price likes to swing rapidly up and down, even during bull markets. So what you're experiencing right now is a short-term pain, and this isn't going to be long-lived. We've gotten our golden cross. We've spent a few days since floating in this higher range, and as you can see with this line that I drew from the last time I did my TA video, I believe from last night, that is when I did this. So as you see, I expected the price to actually come down to about here, right? Now we came down a lot faster and a lot earlier than I expected. So one of two things is going to happen. The first thing is we're going to see the price slip even further down than I expected below this 39-cent mark, right? And the reason that is because the 50-day moving average hasn't had time to rise up to meet where the price is yet, right? So what's going on now is the 50-day is actually going to flatten out. So that means that the price can actually come even lower before we actually see the bottom be set for this move, right? So let's hop into here on the hourly, and I'll break this down a little bit more. Now, before I get into this, actually, I need to give a shout out to somebody in the community, because Lars, you promoting me on Reddit and then being accused of being me and then defending me in the way that you did, like, seriously, I have to give you a shout out in this video just because I was deeply moved by what you said, dude. That, seriously, you're awesome. Thank you for your viewership and thank you for your confidence in me. But please be sure to keep in mind that I am, no matter how intelligent you perceive me to be, I am human. I can and will absolutely make flaws, and that goes to anybody else that's watching this right now, right? I am not a financial expert. What I am presenting to you is just the possibilities that I see in this market, right? So let's get back into the price and talk about where this price is likely to go. And of course, it wouldn't be a Jade Martian video without a pop-up from Brave Browser. But hey, those sweet BAT tokens, right? Brave rewards all day, every day. So, getting back to this, what we are witnessing right now is a short-term correction, right? This was a run-up that honestly was a little bit too big for what we were ready for, and we didn't price gap back down, right? Like, all this area is unfilled, so the price is trying to fill this area, this gap in the chart, and it wants it to be well filled before the price moves into a new range, right? So now that we have set ourselves up into moving into this higher range, the hope is that we're going to find support down in this green zone here, and hopefully no lower than this 38-cent mark here, actually. This is a point that I set weeks ago, actually, at this point, for where I expected us to come back down to, right? Well, I guess not weeks, but a week ago, right? So I said this last week when we were looking at where the price could retrace from this run-up, and I said, we could probably actually see ourselves coming back and setting a bottom down here, because this was the key resistance range when we exited out, right? So now, as you see, the price did just ever so slightly touch the tops of these, but what you're witnessing now is the price slowly selling off down into this candle range, right? So what you will likely see is sort of similar to what we saw during this big sell-off here, right? So you see that the price came rapidly down all the way down to here, and this is actually its lowest point, right? And then it came back up, and then it just moved around down in this range, still way lower than it was, but it moved around this range until it tried to work its way all the way back down to here. And we get a lot more price action here, just to find that we actually have a lot of support down here, right? And so that pushed the price up, and when the price couldn't push back down through here, that's when we got our pop up. So the same thing is happening over here, but only on a smaller time frame, right? So don't worry that the price is going down. There's a very strong chance that what you're witnessing is just a smaller time frame of this, which this is on, technically I think that this shows up on the 4-hour, similar to that one, right? Maybe it's actually the daily. Yeah, see? So you have this sharp slide all the way down here, and then you have this lowering, this price movement downwards. And so what we had to go through days of before, we're only going to have to, hopefully with any luck, deal with for hours now, right? So maybe a day, maybe 2 days. We'll see just how long this takes to shape out. But ultimately, what I'm expecting to see is the price to move down to attempt at least to touch the 50-day moving average before we see it propelled back upwards. And this is actually a very critical technical move for the price to make before we really see the beginning of a true bull run. I've been saying this for quite a while, that after we get our golden cross, we need to test our 50-day before we're going to see Lambo moon season, right? So that's not me saying that we're going to some astronomical price range, but I do feel that once this is finished, that's when this price is finally going to rally to newer highs than we've seen in recent months, in years at this point. And that's when we're likely going to see the price enter into this new trading range with a peak that I'm expecting to be just over $1, and we'll probably see the price play around in there. But that also depends on just how much volume comes through SPI. The dollar is honestly the most conservative future price point that I can project in regards to what we should expect from SPI. Realistically, I do actually expect to see the price go over $5, but I don't want to get anybody hyped because that is a relatively close time period, and though I do feel that the fundamental driver of SPI virtual currencies offering institutional grade custodial services for XRP on June 10th for the first time in a regulated market, I do have a very strong suspicion that due to the fact that that same day the European central banks will flip the switch on to begin utilizing XRapid technologies to facilitate cross-border settlements payments between many of their trade corridors. So I believe that this date is actually a point of convergence where we should see something dramatic. If ever we will see something dramatic, based upon the actual fundamentals that I have found in the news, this is what I believe to be the case. And I will adamantly provide evidence to all these details that I've provided you in regards to SPIVC, but I'm sure many of you listening to this TA video are already well aware of that. So if you would like a video on SPIVC and how SPI is related to Ripple and all that good stuff, please leave a comment in the comment section below asking for such, and I will look into getting to it. I'm also working on a long-term price history of XRP so that we can talk about the price history of it. So look at this beautiful abomination. Yes, this will be a video that I do in the near future, and where we go and talk about the price swings and the market trends of the past, and we talk about how that could very easily, many of these trends could become very important when we look at the future price of Ripple in regards to how it will likely behave in its future bull market whenever we get confirmation that it has truly begun, right? So, I hope you've enjoyed my content. If you are curious as to what that QR code is in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, that is my XRP donations QR code. It only accepts XRP. I'm not asking for donations, but if you would like to assist me in continuing to produce content, please, it's right there, and it only works for XRP. So, once again, I've been Jade Martian, and you, well, well, what I usually say is, I'm Jade Martian, and I'll see you on Mars.